Now, today, I'm not going to try to astound you with little amateur James Randi tricks. I'm going to demonstrate real magic. I'm going to perform the greatest and the most magnificent display of the realm of the unseen this world has ever had the pleasure of witnessing. And I'm going to do it simply by talking. I'm going to astound you with the magic of life that has always been there, but for some reason your non-believing eyes have not been able to see. Now, I know what you're thinking. This guy has officially gone crazy. And you'd be absolutely right. But I lost my mind long before you ever learned to use yours. Let the show begin. Now, what do you see? Because I see a virgin woman holding a baby in her hand and pointing towards the sky and light surrounding her. Yeah, that's pretty much what I see. And don't tell me that's all in my mind and I created this meaning out of nothing. Of course it's all in my mind. But why should that mean it's not real? Of course, I created this meaning out of nothing. But isn't that how the entire universe was supposedly created? Isn't that what meaning is? Isn't that what life is? Magic is all around us. Magic is the meaning behind art, poetry, music, dance, yoga, qigong, kung fu, cooking, gardening, sewing, carpentry, masonry, and actually pretty much everything else. The universe is chaos, but that chaos is determined by an underlying order, and that order, what was once a point of singularity, through interactions with itself, created the circular spiral flow of entropy and turbulent motion. Chaos is order, and order is chaos. Matter is just consciousness in a different form. Light and darkness are one and the same. The self and the world are one. Order is chaos, and chaos is order. The only difference exists in one's mind. The duality that creates the entire universe. Now I know what you're thinking. How does one create the entire universe? Well, how does one create anything? What is creativity? Where does it come from? Where do ideas come from? How does an artist create something that never existed before out of thin air? Like a rabbit that pops out of a hat. How do you create something out of nothing? How does an inventor come up with an idea for an invention, an idea that has never existed before, an idea that has no tangible structure, an idea that has no supervenience or is irreducible? How does one create something out of nothing? There is an answer, and the answer can be found in my words. In language itself, because what is language? It's an expression of thoughts, feelings, ideas, beliefs, concepts, or qualia. It is a manifestation of your subjective experience into a malleable system of symbols and characters with representation and meaning. It is literally a manifestation of you into your physical reality through a conceptual realm of relationships between symbols and actual physical objects, and also immaterial objects such as emotions and beliefs. Just by speaking, you are creating your own reality. I mean, you do realize that, right? You still don't get it, do you? Life is the language of the universe. You, me, and all other objects in your reality are the symbols, the characters, the letters, and together we form sentences and linguistic utterances. But you are the artist, the writer, the musician, the poet, the dancer, the preserver of chaos, whom is both the creator and the destroyer of all things. And I found this out, the meaning of life itself, the most ultimate, the epitome of truths, through my most beloved teacher, my guru, my sensei. I call him Little Sajeepan because I dare not reveal his name after all the shit that I've gotten myself into. But at the time he was an 18-month-old little baby. And I had these little plastic acrylic paint bottles that I purchased a while back from the dollar store. And the one he held in his hand was empty. And I looked at him as he played with that empty paint bottle. And I swear, I've never seen a more happy person in my life. Because I'm surrounded by adults and teenagers, and they are not happy at all. At the most, they are pleasured by temporary bursts of happiness, and then they go back to faking their smiles like everyone else. But this was something that made me want to cry. All he had was an empty paint bottle, and it's not like he was old enough to be grateful for anything, like a poor person or a homeless person who is grateful for things. No, he was just a happy child. There must have been something, some magic in that old empty paint bottle, because he had something that we spend our entire lives trying to get. He has something that people spend years and years in college or university trying to achieve, and then working their entire lives hoping to find it. In his hand was the equivalent of a lifetime supply of drugs and meaningless sex. He was smiling and laughing like he was holding onto the Holy Grail, and inside it was a bottomless pit of all the riches in the world. And guess what? Now, I have it. But this is a magic trick. Poof! Disappeared. How do you feel? Everything you've ever worked for, everything you've ever lived for, your materialistic fantasies and corporeal dreams, and I just threw them all away. But wait, abracadabra, alakazam, alakazoo, zoomy. I'm happy again. Huh? But how is that possible? Because happiness, like love and fear, are not just emotions, but also states of being. I have absolutely nothing to achieve, no premeditated meaning to assign to my life, and yet I've never felt happier. And this distorted perception of time is what distinguishes us from children and animals. Not that we're more intelligent than them. I mean, sure, we have our own wavelength of consciousness that is mediated by our language. But it wouldn't be fair to compare our unique intelligence to that of animal intelligence, which is mediated by animal languages, or the language of biophotonic communication in cells, or the language of insect pheromone conduits, or the language of mycelial networks in fungi, or even the language of momentum and polarization of subatomic particles, or the intelligence of children. Because those are other languages, and we can't speak those other languages. We've grown out of them. So how could we compare our intelligence to their intelligence? But to me, I only see one difference. That we as a species have become emotionally illiterate, emotionally disconnected with ourselves and with the rest of the world. And that is ultimately the source of all our problems, of all our suffering. The fact that we simply do not understand our emotions, the fact that we run away from them, that we are attracted to them, that we let circumstances dictate our moods, whereas in the case of children or animals, they live in the moment. They live in the moment. They have no anxiety for the future or regret of the past. They simply are. And the reason we love them so much is because they remind us of what we were before we let society turn us into what we are not. I think it's time we stop pretending to be grown up. Because as far as I can see, nobody has really grown up. Because if we as individuals or as a collective, as a species were really grown up, we would not be living this way. I think it's time we accept our inner child back into our hearts.
She's dancing in the snow, twirling around and letting go. She falls, she lets earth know she loves it like a pillow. They say look around, buildings collapse, planes falling down. The world is not what it used to be. She'll never sell out her world, she loves it. She's a little girl and they were like her once. Mama, what are they telling me? Is this what I am to be seeing? The world is damned and I'm naive. This world can be deceiving, you just keep on believing you will see beauty. It's all so curious. Once I was so curious. I knew I wanted to go. Bring me back to what I don't know. I remember what it feels like to be slow. I remember my tiny hands reaching to be tall. Bring me back, bring me back. I wanna go down, down the rabbit hole.
of enchantment. Come, little children, the time's come to play here in my garden of shadows. Follow, sweet children, I'll show thee the way through all the pain and the sorrows. Weep not, poor children, for life is this way.